So the male issues detox is working with all of the issues related to male relationships in our life, and then also our own, what we might call male aspect, which would be related to left brain functioning, like thinking and analyzing and organizing and planning and acting. And of course, when those things get out of balance with the feminine side, which is intuition and creativity and being open and receptive, when those things get out of balance and get distorted, then that causes tensions and dramas in our life. So that's what that one is for. And so for this one, we used a different biofeedback device than the first one. This one is called the Bio-pulsar. And thank you to Charlene Leyland in British Columbia. She actually came from British Columbia to Kauai and spent a week with me and helped me do this research with her biofeedback machine. And this one's more sophisticated than the other one. And you can see on the hand plate that it has these little gold sensors, and there's actually 50 of them. So the other biofeedback machine only had 5 sensors, and they lined up with the tips of the finger. This one has 50, and they line up with the meridians that are in the hand, like the Chinese meridian points. So this is actually so sophisticated, this machine, that it is used in 34 other countries outside of the U.S. as a diagnostic tool. And so the energy coming out of these meridian points, the frequency is translated into color. And that gives you a sense of what's going on inside the body. Biofeedback, the body talking back to you. And this is kind of a map about where the different parts of the body show up in the aura and how they're related to the aura. So when people who can see auras do see auras, they see something like this. And Biopulsar practitioners who also see auras have verified that this is very close to what they see. And I don't know if you can see, this is pretty small print, but it's just relating the parts of the body to the aura. So here's the kidney, the transverse colon, along here is the spine. So it's all mapped out, and so a practitioner will know when they see the colors and what colors showing up where as to what's going on in the body. And the colors, when we relate them into frequency, red is the slowest frequency. So it's got, it moves the slowest, so it's said to have the lowest frequency. And orange is higher, yellow, green, all the way to this kind of violet color, and then white is the highest frequency. So green is kind of in the middle, which shows health and balance. And so anything sort of to the left of green, so yellow, orange, red, and sometimes you see kind of brownish, murky colors, that would be meaning that there's not very much life force energy coming out of that particular part of the body. So there must be some resistance that's slowing it down, and that's what it causes illness. Okay, and then besides the colors, it also shows it up in a graph format. So the 50 sensors will show on a graph, and for each one of them, green is normal and balanced, and then the red is where it actually is in that moment. So it could be balanced, or it could be above or below, and that would be the energy coming out of that particular meridian at that point. Okay, so here we go. We started, Charlene hooked herself up to her machine, and she listened the male detox session, which is about 35 minutes long. So I'm not going to, I have it all here, but I'm going to speed through it and just show you the most significant points. And so this is really showing you how the body and how the aura respond to the guided meditation. So in the beginning, she's kind of in a really peaceful state to begin with, and that's actually kind of not really normal. Most people are lots of different colors going on, and I think it's just because she's a practitioner and she works with this all the time. She's kind of trained herself to be at peace here. But then we start the meditation, and the colors start changing, and I'm just going to speed through this. And in the beginning, we're getting you to relax, and then we give the instruction to connect with Source coming in through the top of the head and Mother Earth coming through the bottom of the feet. And we get the response here where the beams of light start coming through. You can see them coming through at the top. And then here's the sphere of compassion. And this is where we start to create a sphere around you. And it's the container to, I call it the alchemical container. And this is what makes this technology, I think, unique from other things, is that high frequencies come into our sphere, and this is happening to all of us all at the same time. It's going to detox us. So the high frequency energy that's coming onto the earth is going to detox everybody. But what normally happens, it comes up and it moves through our consciousness and it moves through our cells, and our cells have all this data, all these programs. And our cells and our brain are like little holographic projectors that project our reality onto the screen of our life. And so usually when things are getting detoxed, we experience it in the form of a drama. It gets actually dramatized in our life so that we can look at it, so that we can interact with it. When we do this as an alternative, and this is why it's a graceful alternative, is we create a sphere and we call up this dense energy, these old programs, this unexpressed emotional energy, and we put it into this sphere so that it doesn't have to move through our consciousness in the form of a drama. And so I think it's really cool that this technology can actually show the sphere showing up. So we give the command to create a sphere around us, and we're calling in the energy from the source and the energy from Mother Earth and asking the sphere to be around us. And you can see the high frequency energy, which is going to be, in this case, it's purple, which is a much higher frequency. It's on the other end of the spectrum, and that's going to hold the space. And you can see that coming up here. So the sphere of compassion, and that's the safe container to release this into so that it doesn't go into your life. And so now we even have the pink energy coming in. That's a higher frequency than the purple. And then we start to call in the I Am Presence. And we see the white start coming through. There it is. It's coming through the heart. And it's going to the edge of the sphere. It's the container. And see, now you see the purple and white along the outside of the sphere. And it holds, it creates that container. And then what you're looking at here coming up from the bottom is the lower frequencies. And you can see that that they start from the bottom and they move, as they move up into your energy field, because we're calling them up from where they've been hidden and suppressed, you can see that they start out with red, but because we've programmed the sphere to start transmuting it right away, it goes from red to orange to yellow to green. So it goes up the spectrum, and it gets transmuted just almost immediately as it's coming up. So we'll just go along and show you. So it just keeps coming up from the depths, and the high energy holds it and transmutes it as it just gets transmuted as it comes through. So we give intentional commands. The intentional commands are what tells the system what to clear. And this is when we're doing the intentional commands. So in the guided visualization, when I guide you through it, I ask you to repeat some commands after me. And it's really interesting here. The yellow comes in at the point where she's repeating the commands. And so because she's speaking now and using language, we get the yellow, which means there's some mental energy going on. And it comes up right at the point when she's doing the commands. She also, Charlene, who is a practitioner of this 18 years now, was really impressed because things in the male detox that we call is about abuse of power. And how when we called that up, it showed up as yellow around the arms, which is, according to her, where those kind of issues would show up in the aura. So again, we see the white energy and the purple energy holding that space. You can't really see it, but over here is how open the chakras are. And it's really small writing here, but the heart chakra is open 97%, and the crown chakra is open 87%. And so through this whole thing, you keep your connection through the heart and through the crown to the higher source as you're calling up this darker stuff into it. And then again, as it moves up, it just immediately transforms. So that's just kind of just going through it here. And then this is after we give the alchemical or the intentional commands to tell the system what to clear, then you do a breath, which actually helps the energy to move through the system and out. So this is the part where she's doing the breath. And you just see the dark stuff coming up from the bottom, and it goes from red to orange to yellow to green, and then it's gone. But it keeps coming through all the time she's doing the breath. Everything she asked to be released is coming up and getting transmuted. And now you see that she's turning into all blues and purples and greens. So her field is now getting close to balance. She only has a little yellow. And now by the end, whoops, I'll go back a little bit. By the end of it, she was back to